Yeah, we have one prospect who's snowed in at a retreat right now, a religious retreat. So hopefully no dog sleds intercept him and convince him to go somewhere else. But I think hopefully tomorrow that'll be our 19th signing. Maybe at the front end, and recruiting goes in different stages. Certainly last year at this time and throughout the spring. It was something that I'm sure everybody was concerned about. You can't, unless you just live in a cave, you can't help but be aware of what's going on, good or bad. So, maybe at that point, but I really think once prospects started coming to campus and they got around our players, and you've heard me talk about the great job our seniors did, but it trickled right down throughout the whole football team. That began a year plus ago, and I think when prospects came to campus and actually got a chance to interface with our players, there were no guarantees, but I think they could sense that we were going to get back up on our feet and have a positive season. So I think we were able to overcome that once the process got going. It may have kept some people away from us. That's entirely possible, but I don't think it was a big deterrent once they got going. It's just an area we think we need healthy competition this spring and this summer. Yeah, so. We feel like we have a chance to have a good football team next year, and I know we've lost some really good players in that area, so it's just we wanted to add to the competition. Yeah, I've never got too hung up on that, and it's probably a good thing because it's one of our inherent challenges is population. We're a state of 3 million people, so it's going to be a little tougher that way. And anytime you go outside of your state or outside of your region, it becomes more and more of a challenge, unless you're one of those big brand name schools, and we're proud of who we are. And but to think that we're going to go head to head with some of the brand name schools outside of our region, it probably isn't realistic. So we try to spend more time finding guys that remind us of some of the players that have had success here. And if Tony Moyaki or Brian Balaga want to take a shot on us, that's a great thing. But going after guys like Chad Greenway and Bob Sanders, Bradley Fletcher, guys like that, we've had a lot of success with players like that too. So, it's really going to be true for all the guys that are in this class, be it the scholarship guys or the walk-ons that are joining us. It's really what they do once they get here, because I really feel confident, based on what I know, all of them have the requisite abilities to be very good players for us. And it's really how hard they want to push and how hard they want to compete here the next 4 or 5 years. I've read about and a lot of things about him, and to answer that last part, no, he's not like Riley. But believe me, we'd take another Riley if we can find one. But it's interesting. I was talking to someone who, a pretty prestigious school, thought that he was as good a tight end prospect as they had. His high school coach relayed that to me, and I could see that. But all that being said, we really think he's going to be defensive end, and we were so excited about him and so enthused when he committed to us. I believe it was in June, maybe it was May, I can't remember exactly. But our level of appreciation for him went even higher when he came to camp in June, and didn't have to. He was already committed and had a scholarship, and he came here and competed. And it's one thing to be around players and try to get a feel for them, but when you're on the field with them, a lot of times you get a real sense about who they are. And just the way he carried himself, the way he wanted to be coached, and the way he wanted to compete that day was really impressive to us. So our intentions are wholly to keep him on that defensive end position, and we're just awfully excited to have him join the class. Matt came here scholarship in hand and committed to us, and he could have gone to the pool that day, and sat around with the girls, but he chose to come down here. So. Yeah, I'll tell you, I enjoyed this year a little bit more because we had some sanity in our rules. We didn't have coaches camping out at all-star games. A bunch of adult coaches harassing parents and families that should be having good family time. That didn't happen. They had a significant dead period, which I think was good for everybody. And it starts with the prospects and their families. They need some protection too from all this stuff. So I think from that standpoint, there's a little bit more sanity. On the flip side of that, the acceleration on the front end continues to go up. I'm not sure I enjoy that, but it's the way of the world, So it's just, and the reason I don't enjoy it so much is there's probably not enough structure on that part of it, and it causes people to project a little bit more. And projections can be dangerous. You know, obviously, the more information you have, the better you can make a decision. But you know, so you got to find that balance. You know, and it's not a tough deal if it's. I say Tony Moyaki, you know, my sister could figure out he's a pretty good prospect. Let's offer him. But some of the other ones are a little trickier, and that's where it's a little tougher.
What was the dynamic like with Ben Neiman, where you're talking to his father, who's the coach at a school he was originally committed to?
That was hard, and you know, I remember distinctly, you know, certain things, conversations you remember distinctly where you're at. And I was in Nashville in a car talking to Jay, and it was hard because, you know, I have great respect for their program. You know, Northern Illinois got an excellent program. Certainly got great respect for the Neiman family, and the fact that, you know, the father-son part of it. So it was a tough position for everybody, both for Ben and Jay and the family, and you know that ball's in their court all the way. So I just remember talking to Jay after Ben had committed, and you know that's one of those deals. You know, he was happy, but also obviously sad for the obvious reasons. But they're a first-class organization at Northern, and you know we're thrilled to have Ben obviously join our football team. You know, Jay became a phenom in our office about 3 years ago. I think it was his sophomore year. It was a game on TV, or our guys had a film back there. But all of a sudden, like, he became a legend in an hour, just with all the guys in the back there. And you know, pretty soon everybody's peeking at that tape. And so we've known about Jay for you know, we're just really excited about him. He's a tremendous young guy, great personality, great family, and you know, we think, you know, he'll be a really dynamic player for us. Our intention is to play him a receiver, but you know, who knows what we'll do with him in other ways. But to get the ball in his hands will be, you know, if we're smart coaches, we'll figure out a way to do that. I don't think so necessarily. It's you know, it's all an individual thing. But the guys this year, at least off this year's class, pretty much once a player committed to us, we all felt pretty good about it. And you know, within the last 6 months, I'd say, you know, that type of time frame. You know, once you start getting out a year, you know, anything can happen, and that's just the way it goes. And we're not big on knocking on other people's doors unless we really have a reason to. You know, if there's somebody giving us information, or if a prospect lets us know that they may still be open, you know, to some thought, then we might. But we're not big on that. I just, you know, like, not a lot of upside for us doing that.
Early on in Illinois, you had some concern around, you know, back when you first took over the head coaching job. One guy this year, aberration, or just?
Yeah, I'm not really concerned about that. Probably an aberration, but I think you know, I'm confident we'll be strong in there, and we need to be. You know, I'll add that on top of it. You know, same old deal. I mean, you can go to the Chicagoland area and back, and the time it takes you to get up to Lamar's High School in northwest Iowa. So, and there are a few more people out there, although there are a lot of good players in that direction as well. But we need to be strong in there, and that's something we're working hard on. And I spent a little time in there last week, and I feel good about, you know, our name and our exposure in there. I wouldn't dispute that. Yeah, I think they're similar in a lot of ways, and you know, first and foremost, it's about winning. You know, and he's been part of a winning program. He's done a great job up there, and you know, they're gonna miss him. But yeah, we're certainly thrilled to get him.
Kind of a non-recruiting question, but there were a lot of
both pre-med guys too, interested in pre-med, very serious about it.
Outside of offensive tackle that you mentioned, 2015, what are the areas of need?
Yeah, I think you know, we've kind of been, I don't want to say stealing from our offensive line pool, but we've been cutting it pretty close over the last couple of years recruiting for that position. So I think that's one area that we really need to make sure we really address it. And I think based on what I know right now, we have a good opportunity to do that. So I'm confident about that. That'd be probably the first and foremost thing on my mind right now. And then we'll you know, disperse the other scholarships. We've gone pretty hard at the defensive back position and receiver position in the last 2 years. So I'm not saying we won't take players, but I don't expect us to sign 5 at each position. That's not going to happen next year, and probably be more balanced at every other position. But the offensive line is really, I think, a critical area for us right now.